Hey everybody, Matt Capone here, your local real estate agent in the greater Charleston area. Coming on today because many people have been asking me about the recent NAR settlement. And so I'm going to walk us through it. Hopefully this video will help you better understand the settlement. What is the NAR and what do they do? And what are the implications for the real estate industry going forward? So first and foremost, the National Association of Realtors is a trade association. It's not a government body, but it's a trade association. It's one of the largest trade associations with about 1.4 million members throughout the United States. And the purpose of this association is to set ethical guidelines for all real estate agents who are members of the National Association of Realtors. And so in joining the association, we agree that we will follow the NAR guidelines and code of ethics. Another function of the NAR is to lobby for property rights and other real estate related matters with national and state governments. And so they do play a role in forming public policy around real estate and real estate sales. So the recent suit involved a class action lawsuit brought in the Western District of Missouri. This is a federal case. It has implications for all NAR members throughout the country. And it was alleged in their complaint that the National Association of Realtors, and they joined a number of other defendants, including Keller Williams, Remax, and a number of other large real estate brokerages in the lawsuit, that through their policies, specifically how the commission for buyers agents and sellers agents was being worked out, that was artificially raising the price or the cost of real estate for all parties. And so what was the result of this case? So the National Association of Realtors, they deny any wrongdoing. They believe that the structure of having a shared compensation model where sellers agents and buyers agents are sharing the commission for the sale of a home does increase cooperation and bring more opportunities for homes to be seen, and thus a better outcome for both sellers and buyers. The settlement is for $418 million, and there were some other aspects of the settlement non-monetary aspects that I'll walk you through now. And so the National Association of Realtors is also responsible for the multiple listing service. This is the database where you can find, the most up-to-date property listings for those who choose to work with a real estate agent. And going forward, this settlement requires that we remove any mention of buyer compensation from an MLS listing. Prior to now, and for many years, a listing agent on behalf of a property seller would put the listing up on the MLS, and in the description it would say buyer's agent compensation or commission 3% or 2.5%, whatever they decided that would be. And so if you were representing a buyer and you were going and helping the buyer to acquire that property, that would be your paycheck. That would be your commission check for the transaction. Typically, you would not be paid from your client, but you'd be paid out of the commission that the seller would be paying to their agent. So we'd be splitting. And so going forward, that has to be removed from MLS this starting in July. And the other part of this is going forward, all buyer agents, real estate agents representing individuals who are looking to buy homes, must have an agency agreement. And this basically means that going into that agreement, you as the buyer are fully aware of how your agent is going to be compensated for the sale. And this, in South Carolina, this is written into law. The SCR 110 is the form that we use. It is the disclosure of real estate brokerage relationship. This form, by law, we must share this with each client that we represent. To me, this is kind of a no-brainer. I think it's important that consumers have as much information as possible, especially when they're making a huge transaction or contemplating a huge transaction like a real estate transaction. This form, the purpose of this form is to ensure that real estate agents are explaining to the consumer, explaining to their potential clients the different options that they have in terms of representation as they go through the buying process. And at different levels of representation, there are different ways that you can be compensated. You could be paid a transaction fee, a flat rate as a real estate agent. You could be paid a commission. There are other ways that we can kind of work out the compensation model. It's our responsibility as real estate agents to ensure that each of our clients or the consumers that we represent fully understands those options. And in this case, the NAR case, I think that they found, or what was found, is that was not always happening. That real estate agents were not always taking the time to ensure that their clients fully understood what their options were. For my clients, I try to make sure that they understand all of their options. I want them to go into this working relationship with all the information that they possibly could need, especially when it comes to what our working relationship will actually be. So how will this affect the real estate industry going forward? Going forward, likely buyers, agents will be paid by their own clients rather than out of the seller's commission. That might not be the case in all situations. I know that many sellers and listing agents, those agents who are representing the sellers, they may choose to compensate the buyer's agents because they know that will bring more traffic to their property. This is an incentive, right? We're incentivizing people to come in and show the property. In other cases, the property seller might say, hey, I don't want to pay the buyer's agent. I will pay you, my listing agent, X percent of the sale price, but I'm not going to be paying the buyer agent. And that's a choice as well. So it remains to be seen how much our actual practices will change as a result of this, how this will affect the industry on the whole. There's a theory that this may drive prices down. I don't necessarily agree with that theory. I think real estate prices are based on what people are willing to pay for real estate. And many times, at least in my experience, real estate agents are actually trying to help their clients to understand that their property might be worth a bit less than what they're expecting for various reasons, including what's going on in the market. And so what we do know is that when you are going forward into a real estate transaction, if you are working with a buyer agent, if you are a buyer looking for a home, you should fully expect that you will have options in terms of how your agent will be compensated. If you are the seller working with a listing agent, you don't have to pay those buyers agents. That's your choice. It really always has been on both sides. None of this really changes anything. But what it does do is it's making sure that all real estate agents are taking these proactive steps to make sure that their clients, that the general public is fully aware of all their options. To me, that's important. And that's the way we should have been doing things all along. So if you have any more questions, please reach out to me, and I'll talk to you guys next time.